Britain gave the world the Mini, the Jaguar E-Type, and the Range Rover, but those legends left dozens of clever machines in the shadows. Some were packed with ideas years ahead of their rivals. Some looked odd enough to scare buyers away. Others were ruined by bad timing, strikes, badge politics, or simply the wrong price on the showroom window. In this list, we are digging through 20 British cars from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that deserve another look. One helped point toward an entire future class of car. Another was so unusual it almost feels like a factory experiment that escaped onto the road. Number 20. Bond Equipe GT. Bond took the sensible bones of the Triumph Herald, borrowed later muscle from the Spitfire, and wrapped it all in a sharp fiberglass body that looked far more exotic than its parts list suggested. Underneath, it kept Triumph's simple engines, suspension, and serviceability, which meant owners got sports car style without terrifying repair bills. It was not a mass-produced dream machine, but that was the charm, a boutique British coupe built from familiar hardware. The Equipe made humble mechanics feel special. Next, though, we go the other way. Tiny, clever, mass market, and still strangely misunderstood. Number 19. Hillman Imp. Roots aimed straight at the Mini, but took a very different route. The Imp put a lightweight aluminum engine in the rear, freeing up cabin space and giving this tiny car unusually clever packaging. It also brought features like independent suspension and a rear opening window, making it advanced for a small British car of the early 60s. The problem was not the idea. It was the execution. Rushed production, factory troubles, cooling issues, and early reliability complaints damaged the Imp's name before it could mature, and it deserved better than its reputation. Next, small car engineering gets dressed in unexpected luxury. Number 18. Riley Elf and Wolseley Hornet. Now, BMC took the Mini's clever front-wheel drive layout and tried to make it feel like a tiny luxury saloon. The Elf and Hornet gained a longer tail with a proper boot, upright chrome grills, and interiors dressed with wood trim and plusher details. Underneath, they were still Mini relatives, which meant nimble handling and compact dimensions. But their formal styling gave them a very different character, almost like shrunken executive cars for buyers who wanted small without looking basic. The standard Mini became the icon, leaving these posh cousins in the margins. Next, another compact goes even deeper into coach-built refinement. Number 17. Vanden Plas Princess 1100 and 1300. This was the poshest branch of the ADO 16 family, the front-wheel drive BMC line that became one of Britain's best-selling cars of the 1960s. Beneath the badge sat the same clever transverse engine layout and roomy small car packaging as the Austin and Morris versions. Vanden Plas turned it into something far grander. Buyers got leather seats, walnut veneer, thick carpets, extra chrome, and a formal grille that made the little saloon look oddly statesmanlike. It was compact luxury done with total seriousness. Next, BMC tried the same ambition on a much larger scale, and the result proved far harder to sell. Number 16. Austin 3-litre. Launched in 1967, the Austin 3-litre was British Leyland's attempt at a serious executive saloon. It used a smooth 6-cylinder engine, rear-wheel drive, and a sophisticated self-leveling hydroelastic suspension system, aiming for quiet, cushioned, long-distance comfort rather than sporting sharpness. The problem was the car around it. Its styling looked awkwardly related to the smaller Austin 1800. Its price pushed it near Rover and Triumph territory, and its arrival came as buyers were already moving toward sharper, more prestigious badges. Only around 10,000 were built. Next, the story shifts from a big company failure to a small specialist car that found its niche. Number 15. Gilburn Invader. Built in Wales, the Gilburn Invader was a rare grand tourer from one of Britain's smallest specialist manufacturers. Gilburn used lightweight fiberglass bodies, a sturdy chassis, and proven Ford engines, including the 3-litre Essex V6, giving the car strong performance without exotic mechanical risks. Introduced in 1969, the Invader offered leather-trimmed comfort, sharp looks, and the appeal of something hand-built rather than mass-produced. Later versions even gained estate and 4-seat body styles, making it unusually practical for a cottage industry performance car. Production stayed tiny, which is why many people barely remember it. Next comes another small maker machine with styling that was even more dramatic. Number 14, Marcos GT. The Marcos GT came from a very unusual engineering background. Early cars used a lightweight plywood chassis designed with input from aerodynamicist Frank Costin, wrapped in a fiberglass body that sat incredibly low. You almost reclined inside it, with the bonnet stretching out ahead like a miniature racer. Its styling was wild for a British specialist car, with long curves, covered headlights, and a competition-ready stance. Marcos also had real racing links, while road cars used familiar engines from Volvo and Ford, giving exotic looks without impossible maintenance. Next comes a forgotten machine that turned practicality into a performance weapon. Number 13, Reliant Scimitar GTE. The Scimitar GTE took a very British shortcut to grand touring. A fiberglass body, a sturdy separate chassis, and Ford Essex V6 power up front. Its real trick was the shape. Instead of a traditional coupe tail, Reliant gave it a long roof, a hatchback, and folding rear seats, creating a fast shooting brake years before sporting estates became fashionable. It also had a serious image boost from Princess Anne, who owned several and famously used them hard. That royal connection helped prove the Scimitar was more than a quirky Reliant badge. Next is another practical British car, aimed not at grand tourers, but at ordinary families. Number 12, Austin Maxi. Launched in 1969, the Maxi gave ordinary families a 5-door hatchback at a time when most rivals still had separate boots. Its front-wheel drive layout freed up cabin space, the rear seats folded flat, and the tall body made it genuinely useful for luggage, children, and long trips. The problem was the arrival. Early cars were hurt by an awkward cable gear shift, plain styling, and the usual British Leyland image issues. Buyers saw something odd, not something ahead of its time. Next comes a more traditional saloon, but with much sharper performance under the skin. Number 11, Triumph Dolomite Sprint. Launched in 1973, the Dolomite Sprint looked like a neat, upright British saloon, but its engine made it special. The 2-litre 4-cylinder used a 16-valve cylinder head, an advanced feature for the time, and produced strong enough performance to trouble far more expensive sporting saloons. It was compact, quick, and refined, with wood trim, proper seating, and a character closer to a miniature executive car than a boy racer. Against BMW and Alfa Romeo rivals, it offered real pace with a distinctly British flavour. Next is a car often treated as a joke, though the full story is more generous. Number 10, Morris Marina TC. The Marina was British Leyland's deliberately conventional answer to the Ford Cortina. Simple rear-wheel drive, familiar engines, and easy servicing for company fleets. It was not meant to reinvent the family car. The TC models gave it a sharper edge. 8-litre B-series engine, the Marina TC Saloon and Coupe offered stronger performance, extra instruments, and a more assertive image, especially in coupe form. Its reputation later became a punchline, but the TC showed what the Marina was trying to be: ordinary, useful, and just sporty enough. Next comes a far more dramatic British shot at a mainstream rival. Number 9, Vauxhall Forenza HP Droopsnoot. This was Vauxhall trying to turn the modest Forenza Coupe into a serious performance car. 3-litre slant 4 engine with around 131 brake horsepower. It was tied closely to Vauxhall's motorsport image, with a 5-speed gearbox, sharper suspension, and a look nothing like the company's ordinary saloons. Fewer than 250 were built, which is why it almost vanished from memory. Next is another sporty 1970s coupe, with a famous badge connection and a much messier legacy. Number 8, Jensen Healey. On paper, this was a serious recipe. Jensen built it, Donald Healey's name gave it sports car credibility, and power came from Lotus's new 2-litre twin-cam engine. That made it quick, modern, and far more interesting than many affordable roadsters of the early 1900s. The problem was timing and execution. Early cars suffered from reliability and build quality issues, while the oil crisis and a shrinking sports car market made buyers cautious. Later versions improved, but the reputation had already stuck. Next is even more unusual, a luxury version of a car most people considered ordinary. Number 7, Panther Rio. Now, Panther took the humble Triumph Dolomite and rebuilt it as a tiny luxury saloon with hand-finished trim, leather, wood veneer, better soundproofing, and a much higher price. From the outside, it still looked recognisably Dolomite, but the aim was closer to a miniature Rolls-Royce than a family car. That was the strange appeal. It offered compact British practicality with coach-built luxury for buyers who wanted exclusivity without the size of a full limousine. The problem was cost. A Rio could be more expensive than far more prestigious cars. Next comes a car that looked like the future, but may have been too unconventional for its own good. Number 6. Lotus Elite Type 75. Launched in the mid-1970s, the Elite was Lotus trying to grow up. Instead of a tiny two-seat sports car, it had a fiberglass body, 4 usable seats, and a shooting brake rear end with proper luggage space. Underneath, it still carried serious Lotus thinking, with a backbone chassis, sharp suspension, and the new Lotus twin-cam engine. The result was a grand tourer that was light, clever, and genuinely advanced. Its problem was acceptance. The wedge styling divided buyers. The engineering was complex, and the price pushed it into difficult company. Next, rally-bred excitement arrives from a badge many viewers may not expect. Number 5. Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. This was a humble rear-wheel drive Sunbeam hatchback turned into something much more serious. 2-litre twin-cam engine strengthened the drivetrain and helped turn the little 3-door shell into a proper homologation special. On the road, it looked almost ordinary, apart from the stripes and stance. In competition, it was anything but. The Sunbeam Lotus helped Talbot win the 1981 World Rally Championship for manufacturers, beating far bigger names on the world stage. Today, it survives as a cult car from rallying's wild homologation years. Next, Britain's story takes an unexpected Anglo-Japanese turn. Number 4. Triumph Acclaim. Launched in 1981, the Acclaim was not really a Triumph in the old sense. Underneath, it was based on the Honda Ballade, built in Britain through British Leyland's partnership with Honda. That meant front-wheel drive, tidy packaging, and most importantly, reliability that many Leyland showrooms badly needed. It sold well, and for buyers it felt like a safer bet than much of the company's troubled 70s output. Yet it was also the final car ever to wear the Triumph badge. The Acclaim closed one famous British chapter, while pointing straight toward the Rover Honda years ahead. Next, an 80s performance hatchback with outrageous speed and almost no lasting fame. Number 3. MG Maestro Turbo. Launched in 1989, the MG Maestro Turbo was far quicker than its plain family car roots suggested. Its 2-litre turbocharged engine produced serious shove, giving it a 0 to 60 time of around 6.7 seconds, quicker than many better-remembered hot hatches of the decade. It looked the part too, with Tickford bodywork, flared arches, side skirts, and bold graphics. The problem was the Maestro badge. By then, buyers saw it as awkward and unfashionable, not exotic. Only just over 500 were built, making it rare today. Next, another British 80s sports machine trying to reinvent a small manufacturer. Number 2. Reliant SS1. Launched in 1984, the SS1 was Reliant trying to build a cheap, modern British sports car for a new decade. Its sharp wedge shape came from Giovanni Michelotti's influence, while the body used lightweight fiberglass panels over a separate chassis. Power came from Ford engines at first, including a 1300 and 1600, later joined by quicker turbocharged versions using Nissan power. It was light, grippy, and genuinely fun on the right road. The problem was image. The styling divided opinion, and the Reliant badge carried baggage. Next comes the car that best sums this whole list up. Clever, capable, and almost erased from memory. Number 1. Rover SD1. Launched in 1976, it looked nothing like the old Rover saloons it replaced. The long nose, fastback tail, and slim glasshouse gave it clear Ferrari Daytona energy, wrapped around a practical executive hatchback. It was good enough to win European Car of the Year in 1977, and the V8 versions had real presence. On British roads, it became a motorway icon, especially in police livery. Its legacy was damaged by strikes, rust, and patchy build quality. That is why the SD1 belongs here. Ambitious, influential, and unmistakably British, yet still treated like a footnote.